I am Ted McGregor. I am the chairman of the Riverfront Park Committee, and I go back a little bit because I started on the master planning process, I think, in 2013. And so we've been at this for some time. And if you go back even farther, in 1974, one day from now, tomorrow, May 4th, was the opening of Expo 74. A day much like today. I was this big, 9 years old, on my dad's shoulders, down there waiting for President Nixon to come and give our blessing for our World's Fair. Butterflies were flying that day. That's the last time they kind of flew free and beautiful. And we're here today to celebrate the reopening of the butterflies. Hopefully two in the long run, but one today, and this chunk of the promenade. And I would just say that we have some of our park board members here with us today. We have Garrett Jones, acting director of Spokane Parks. So welcome to them. Lots of hard work put in. Lots of people in this gathering today who have put a lot of time and effort and love into this new park. So it's really exciting to get everybody together and celebrate the little benchmarks. This has been a long process, and this is a really exciting day. Love the weather. You know, the history of Riverfront Park a little bit is people sticking their nose into other people's business. And, you know, they hired King Cole, and he actually got paid to do it, but he kind of stuck his nose into Spokane's business and said, we need to think big, guys. Let's do our own moonshot. Let's have a World's Fair. You know, one of the other examples is just over the hill over there, and that's the clock tower, which is a huge part of our cultural identity here. All the railroad history, and if you know the story of Expo, we were going to tear that sucker down. It was coming down, people. People in the community got it together, and we saved it. That just took an effort among people to do that. And today, this is a great example too. I don't know if people remember the sad, forlorn state of our butterflies where they laid on their side in a dirt field up here, but that wasn't great. Local community member Jennifer Lineberger is here today, I believe, if you want to raise your hand. She's very humble right there. Jennifer Lineberger, thank you for sticking your nose in our business. That was great. She got behind the butterfly. She said, we need to bring these butterflies back. There aren't a lot of artifacts of the World's Fair. They are few and far between. Of course, we have our pavilion, which we're working on right now, but the butterflies are something that we could rally together. She started a Facebook page. She came to all our meetings, and look at what happened. Nice. People can make a difference. So I think it's a beautiful reminder of where we came from. I don't like to wallow in the nostalgia too much because, you know, I think of the 9-year-old kids today. Expo doesn't mean a lot to them, but us as grown-ups, having a park that they can feel like it's an expo every time they come down here is what we're after. But, you know, it is nice to have those connections to the old days and the generations that came before us. But anyhow, so I wanted to thank Jennifer Lineberger for that. And also, you know, that thing needed work to come back to life. And we had a local firm, Kaufman Engineers, came up and donated their time to help this thing fly again. It's gonna turn, it's gonna float. It'll do all the things a real butterfly can do. And you know, along with that, one of the other dreams, when we put together the master plan, we really just put together all the ideas that had come before, fine-tuned them, and one of them was always to have a really great connection from north to south. The Riverfront Park design of 1978 was a little more meandering with trees, and you could get in there and not be sure, how do I get downtown? Well, the Grand Promenade was the big idea that was one of the big things that we decided to fund, and we've got a Burger Partnership here today who designed this landscape. And today we are going to open, I guess, about half of it down to the Blue Bridge. So that's really exciting. Ultimately, around Hoop Fest, you will be able to cross the park on the Grand Promenade and into the future. So that's coming up too. Get excited for that. We're standing in a really cool spot of the park that was kind of forgotten, and one of the cool things that we did with our master plan is we said we're going to take this piece of property up here in the North Bank and reclaim it. So right now it's just, you know, a dirt field, a former parking lot, but this is going to be the Great Floods Playground, opening next summer. All your kids are going to love that thing. It's going to be like the playground people drive from all around to come and see. And we are going to make geology exciting. When we would have all been under 5 stories of water right now if we were here during the floods. But we're going to have a wheels park for kids to play on. We're going to have potentially a basketball court up here and more parking. And so we really see this as like connecting our north and south. We have a river that runs through our city, and the park has to transcend that and connect us. And we think that that's going to happen. So I have a few special guests today, and one is from the city administration, and I would just say a comment about the mayor's office. The mayor's office and the administration is what kicked this whole thing off. They got behind the bond issue. It was a huge show of confidence that this was the kind of big thinking we needed. And it took a while. We had to start this at the beginning of his tenure. So kudos to the mayor's office for not only getting out in front of it, but also at times letting us do our job in parks and make this thing happen and not micromanage us too much. So I think that it was the right mix of all that. And today we have Teresa Sanders, our city administrator.
Thanks very much, Ted. And welcome, everyone. I know Mayor Condon was disappointed that he couldn't be here today. We're pretty passionate about Riverfront Park and all of our parks, and we're pretty proud Spokanites today for this component. I rarely get the opportunity for a microphone. Most people have better sense, but if since I do have it, I would like to take the opportunity to thank staff, all of our contractor partners, and particularly the park board for all of their efforts behind all of the components of Riverfront Park. This is one small component. As you know, this is a very big park and it is achieving wonderful things. I'm curious to know how many of you were here for Expo? Awesome. I think, how many of you weren't born yet, just out of curiosity? Good on you, because this part of this park is for you. I mean, this, for those of us that were part of the history of Riverfront Park, that's phenomenal, but the future of Riverfront Park is what we're really all about. And I think it's amazing how we can take the legacy of Riverfront Park and its history with the butterflies. Those of us that were a part of this, we remember being able to meet people at the base of the butterfly and what color the butterfly was, and we're meeting at the Purple Butterfly for lunch. Those things are wonderful legacies to include in this amazing new park that we're bringing to the community. So thank you for your investment. One amazing thing has happened while we've been developing Riverfront Park, and that is, believe it or not, the Spokane River has actually moved. The Spokane River used to be the northern boundary of downtown Spokane, but it's now in the middle of Riverfront Park. And when I say that, what I mean is you're going to see amazing development happening behind you in Riverfront Park. You're going to see this beautiful sportsplex. Thank you to the Public Facilities District and an array of partners for the sportsplex. Thank you, Barry. And the connection of our sportsplex to Riverfront Park is going to be extraordinary. We're going to see new residential development, the Falls Tower project that's come into the city for development. You will see a reimagined North Bank in Spokane, which puts Riverfront Park and Spokane River in the center of our city, which is just phenomenal. Again, we're very proud Spokanites. I will say, Mayor Condon and I maybe spend a little bit too much time looking out the window at City Hall and watching the day-to-day progress of Riverfront Park, and we have opinions, and I think, staff has been champions of we're not getting too much in their way, so thanks, Ted, for acknowledging that. We are pretty passionate about this. We look forward to what's coming next with Riverfront Park and with the future of Spokane and everything that's going to happen here. Thank you, everybody, for your contribution, and we just look forward to seeing what happens next. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and I really do mean that to thank the administration, and particularly Mayor Condon, whose term will be running down soon. So if you get a chance to thank him for his work on this. Teresa also brought up all the contractors that have worked on this project. It's been so cool to look at and meet all the people. We have world-class builders, designers in this community. And one of the great stories in all this that people don't know, you look back at our pavilion, and when you read The Fair in the Falls, and I was just paging through the other day, one of the great stories is Tim Welsh, one of the principals of Garco, working on that building as one of his first jobs. And so I did want to give a shout out to that family connection with Garco. Clancy Welsh is here today. Clancy. And we are kind of flaky owners because we change our mind a lot. I mean, so as some of us who have been in a lot of the meetings can attest, but we want to get it right. We want to make this thing awesome, and they have worked with us all the way. And I would just point out we wouldn't even be here today if they hadn't pushed hard. They came in 30 days early on what the property we are standing on right now. So thanks, Garco. And now we've got a special treat that takes us all the way back. I don't know how we did this because I'm told he was in witness protection, but we found the original designer of these butterflies. And this is Eric Groy, and he's made the trip all the way over to Spokane, and he is going to tell us some stories and share anecdotes about the vision and what we are looking at right now. So Eric, please come on up.
Thank you so much. As my stories always start, there I was minding my own business. This particular day I had just come back in from New York. I was doing book cover illustration, who knew, and ran into a very old friend of mine, Brent Blake, who had just gotten the graphics contract for the Spokane Expo 74. He needed a graphic designer, and he said, Eric, could you join us? Oh. 7 years ago. So here I am meeting a very old good friend. He needed a graphic designer. I had kind of had it with New York after a year and a half or so being there. And I said, sure, who's going to turn down one of the biggest graphic jobs in the country? Not me. So I joined the team, and part of my responsibility, besides designing signage and directional signs and all the pictographs and so forth, the men's and women's and food and things you need to navigate around the park. The big problem, unsolvable problem at the time, was how do we let people find their way around the park? We needed something very tall that was observable over and around the other buildings. So you could say, hey, go meet me at the Red Butterfly at 2 o'clock, or go meet me at the Red something at 2 o'clock. So with the right amount of coffee, right amount of boredom, right amount of enthusiasm and panicking at the same time, because the budgets, not the budgets, but the time budget was very tight on this design. Of course, I had the Expo 74 paperwork all in front of me, and the logo was all over the place. So I'm looking at the original logo. I didn't design it. I forget who did. But one afternoon looking at it, I thought, hey, wait a minute. You can just do this. Double one side, just fold it out, and you've got a butterfly shape. And from that, this came forth. So we worked on the many variations of the shape. The shape had to stay pretty close to the original logo design, and we made a model of it about 4 feet square, mounted on the back of a pickup truck on a pole, ran up and down in front of Boeing Field on a side road, frightening small animals and children. And then when we arrived at the fact that wings needed to be folded back a little bit and the balance needed to be a little bit this way so it wouldn't get too volatile and high winds, and we had researched and found out that the highest wind here during the time of the expo was 72 miles an hour in recorded in the past, so it had to be designed and engineered. I did the design, and then we handed it off to an engineering firm and hoped for the best that they would get it right and wouldn't fall down and kill anybody. But I tell you, one of the best moments in my design career was at the opening of the fair, and I think Nixon was a little late starting. Everyone was kind of, come on, let's go. The fair got underway. Half an hour later, I'm standing with the rest of the design team near one of these, and a family came up. The kids say, hey, we want to go eat, we want to go there. And somebody pointed and said, we'll meet you at the Red Butterfly at 2 o'clock. And that made my day. Anyhow, I've got to thank immediately Jennifer Lionberger over here. proof positive that a individual citizen in a community with enough gumption, you can add all the other adjectives you want, gumption or grit or whatever, can get something done. And I deal with this a lot, and I do community works for communities all over the country to improve their civic presence. And there's always someone like Jennifer who's at the root of it all. And to Jennifer and all those who have brought this forth today, I congratulate you and I thank you from the depths of my heart. Thank everyone here. Thank you.
Again, thanks, Eric, for coming. That's great. Great stories. I want to spend more time hearing more about those early days. And I love the genius design of just staring at a logo long enough till you start like taking it apart. That's great work. Well, now comes the nerdy part of our presentation. This thing's got to fly, you know, there's guts up there on that thing. And when they started looking at it to put it back up, they realized that it was going to need to get re-engineered completely. And that's where Kaufman comes in, and we're going to hear a little bit more about that process from Cully Paris.
Well, good morning, everybody. How are you? Great. I'm excited to be here. I have a confession, though. I'm a transplant to Spokane, so I wasn't born here. I wasn't even born when these things went up. However, I've come to really enjoy and love Spokane as my home. And 16, 17 years in now, I don't think I'm going anywhere. Thanks for welcoming me. When you start to love a place, it brings a lot of engagement. And, you know, for Jennifer, that meant saving the butterflies, right? She had love, and that meant I'm going to engage, and it's going to be hard work, and I'm going to make a difference. She grew up seeing them. She shared this with me. We had a little chat about what she might say if she were standing here. And she was just 3 or 4 years old when they first got up, and so as she grew up, it was what we've referenced, you know, meet me at the blah 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 at such and such a time. But then she sort of watched them fall into disrepair, and that was kind of a wound that stayed with her. And I imagine that some of those other people that raise their hands, you have that same feeling. So when the park plan came out, she thought, okay, what are we going to do with this butterfly? And she looked through it, and she realized, oh, I don't see them mentioned at all. That's no good. So she decided that she was going to engage, and through her own engagement, she engaged a bunch of other people in the community, and things started moving. So as she galvanized the community, people like those of you that raised your hands started to reach out to Jennifer with their own stories. And the things that they shared underscored the unique place that they hold in our psyche as a community. And I'm going to just give you one example that she shared with me, and I'll try not to choke up. But she spoke about a woman named Cheryl who said, when I was young, I would do just what Eric was talking about. I'd say, oh, I'll meet you, Mom and Dad, I'll meet you at the butterflies. And they'd say which one and so forth. And she said, but I was always late because, you know, I was a kid and things are fun and you get distracted. And so I'd finally arrive, they'd always beat me there. And there they are smiling, my mom and my dad. And they're gone now. So every time Cheryl sees a butterfly, she's transported back to that moment where she sees her mom and her dad. That's a powerful testament to place and identity that you don't want to get rid of just to replace with new, right? Because those things, you can't get them back. I lost my mom about 6 months ago, and similarly, I'm finding, you know, these things, these places that pull me back, it's sudden and it's very powerful. So I'm thrilled that we can make these butterflies stay up and maintain that memory. Here's a bonus. With the repair and resurrection, no one is going to look at these and wonder, what is up with that very strange antenna? Is it used for anything? I think some people didn't even know they were butterflies, right? So we're changing that. That's really cool. Now, in order to make that happen, the nerd part had to come in. So here I've put on my imaginary spectacles. Craig Lee, who really wanted to be here, unfortunately had an engagement overseas. He's in Scotland and could not be here. He's a longtime principal at Kaufman Engineers, where I've been for 15 years. And he joined the effort, and Jennifer said he really propelled our vision of what was possible, and said, yes, we can make them fly again. They don't have to just be, stuck in some corner, not doing anything. We can make them like they were, or even better. So a year or so ago, Craig came bounding down to my office, and he's like 72. He's the youngest 72-year-old guy you'll ever meet. He's just got this big boyish grin that he has when he's excited about a project. He says, Cully, Kaufman Engineers is going to help rebuild the butterflies. And I'm like, awesome. Max was there with me. He sits right by me. And we started thinking about it. And we went down to Garco, and we looked at the butterfly that was kind of cut up in pieces and laying on the floor, and measured it and took photos, and started to dream, like, well, how do we maintain as much of this as we can, and how do we make it better, and how do we improve the bearings, and how do we make sure that this thing can fly? And we nerded out so much. Max fired up his 3D printer, and we printed a little model. It's about this tall, and we go back to it and try to understand, okay, how's this going to work? What could we change? And it really helped us visualize, because of course we had never really seen these things operating. We're both too young. So we removed the guy wires. If you recall, there used to be 3 tension wires up about 25 feet, and those would keep this thing from tipping over. Craig said, that'd be a lot better if we just made there be no wires. And so we made that happen. There's a big, huge piece of concrete down there holding that thing in place. And suddenly we have an even more kind of iconic thing sitting there. And we improved the bearings so that they shouldn't need the kind of maintenance that was a problem in the past. And Garco Construction did a great job putting that into practice. When I went to see the butterfly during installation, I met a guy named Jim, a Garco employee, who was here helping to set those original butterflies up. And again, I was reminded of this really powerful connection to place and identity that we don't want to just let go easily. So I'm really thrilled to stand here representing engaged citizens, engaged corporations, nerds, and just happy to be here as we celebrate the reopening of this entrance and the development of the park and the butterfly. Maybe we'll do this again in a year or whatever with the other butterfly. That'd be really fun. I know Kaufman Engineers we're really proud to take a part in things that matter to our community. So that's exciting. We care a lot about that. I do know this, after the run on Bloom's Day that I do with my daughter, I'm going to be pointing this butterfly out to her, and I'm going to say, why don't you and your friends go find a treat and then meet me at the butterfly in like half an hour. And I'll be sure to beat her there so I can be there smiling, and I'm going to think about Cheryl, and I'm going to make a memory for my kids like Cheryl has. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Cully. That's great. And, a couple things that I reflected on your comments. One is this place is so profound for all of us. And it's just awesome to see our generation, taking it and making it great. And that's a credit to the confidence we have in our community right now. That's the credit to the character of our community. And so thanks for everyone that is part of that effort. Another thing is, if you would like to be a part of funding the next butterfly, we are fundraising for that, and we have representatives of the Spokane Parks Foundation who are helping us with that project. We are going to do public fundraising with that. The last thing is just we are behind me is the pavilion, and as everyone knows, that's the centerpiece of Expo. It's the centerpiece of our park. It was the most tricky piece of the entire puzzle. And we're looking at opening in the fall. So get ready for that, everyone. That'll be exciting. Every piece of this park, the complexity that Cully shared, everything that we've done here has that level of detail to it. It is nuts. I had no idea how much effort went into all these things, but it's just been such a showpiece for all these guys with all their professions. And I think that the pride that you heard, it's been a project, I think, for every contractor that's been involved to really put the extra effort to make it amazing. We are going to cut a ribbon here, and then everybody can wander around and enjoy the day and enjoy our promenade. And I don't know if I was going to thank our park board. Of course, we've got Jerry Sperling here, we've got Jennifer Ogden, and we've got Nick Sumner, our park board president. And Bob is back there Yep, there's Bob. Yep. So we do have some park board members on hand. You know, this is, I've said this a few times, this is probably the most complicated project that Spokane Parks has ever done. And so the staff has done a great job. Barry, there's so many people to thank. Anyhow, I think they're going to pull this ribbon across here. And we were hoping that Clancy would come up here. There he is, yeah. And Guy Michelson from Burger Partnership. They went all through City Hall to gather up all the scissors. There's not a pair left. 1, 2, 3. What a great gathering. Thank you all for coming this morning, and feel free to say hi to Jennifer, say hi to Eric and any of the team up here. We all would love to talk about Riverfront Park. Thanks again.